Friday to Sunday at the Home and Garden Show at the Lancaster Event Center. This show, as well as On the Block, will be live out there on Friday. We're teaming up with Culligan of Lincoln for our booth, so come say hi. And some of us and some of the Husker athletes who stop by. Friday will be 1 to 9 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Admission is $8, but you get $1 off if you bring a non-perishable, non-expired food product for Food Bank of Lincoln. And make sure it doesn't expire tomorrow, like the next day. Come on, you're trying to do some help here. Also want to let you know, Super Bowl party at Buffalo Wings and Ring 68th and O. Got to stop out for that as well. Stop by for great food, drinks, and lots of free prizes, all during the Bengals Rams on Sunday. You pretty amped up, or you're building anticipation? That's a tough word. Anticipation for the Super Bowl.
I am. Yeah, no, I'm ready to go. I mean, I know we talked about it yesterday. You can't go wrong with the Super Bowl, right? I mean, I'm assuming people in Lincoln, Nebraska probably don't have an allegiance to either team unless you're rooting for the Bengals because of Zach Taylor. But I think you can't go wrong. Bengals are a good story. Matt Stafford finally gets out of Detroit. That's a good story. So
that's just a good story in and of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And then of everything that happened.
Exactly. It's a good story either way. We don't see Tom Brady. We don't see Aaron Rodgers, which I know you don't like as much. But
yeah,
I think it's very refreshing. I mean, come on. I mean, if I would have asked you this time last year, what would your odds be for the Bengals versus the Rams in the Super Bowl? Vegas probably wouldn't even offer it.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably wouldn't even.
I don't think that's a good thing, though. I think that, to my point, I said off air the other day, I think if the Bengals and Rams were playing in Week 5, it wouldn't be picked for the primetime slot. That's not Sunday night football.
No.
It's an interesting game. And certainly, the stories that have played out, I'm excited for the Super Bowl regardless. And it is kind of nice to get something fresh in there and to see some new faces. I just always like something kind of historical on the line.
I mean, I guess it is historical, though. When was the last time the Bengals played in the Super Bowl? There's your ticket for the day. I don't know.
It's somewhat historical.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal. Again, I mean, it's been so long. It's been so long since they've even won a playoff game. So
yeah, it's been a great ride, and I certainly will. I'm going to have a tough idea of choosing who I'm going to pick for. I'm not going to be really frustrated one way or the other unless I put some money down on it,
which I've already done. So, and I've got money on the Rams. So we'll see.
I picked the Rams. They've kind of been the team that I've kind of been riding with before the playoffs. But I didn't really see the Bengals happening, and of course you have Zach Taylor and all that stuff there, so it's going to be hard to cheer against Zach Taylor. I think.
I mean, that's fair. Cam says 1988. That's
it's been a long time. I just don't know if that's historical though, because when I say historical too, I kind of mean like relevant blue blood type of franchise. Like if Green Bay's in the Super Bowl, there's history on the line.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You tell me you want to see the Patriots every year?
I like that. Yeah,
come on, Bob.
I was a big fan of the Warriors and the Cavaliers every year in the NBA. No, I wasn't really. There's a nice there's a middle ground that you have to find there. I just feel a little bit. I'm not too starstruck by the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, I tell you what, with Sean McVay and Matt Stafford, I mean, this could turn into your blue blood team here moving forward. I mean, there's no indication that the Rams are going to drop off anytime soon.
Yeah, and I do like the fact I said this a few years ago, and you could say this almost every year, but it's not true most years. Well, no, never mind. Now I'm getting my Super Bowls confused. That was the Chiefs and the 49ers. I thought, okay, I think that these franchises are going to be playing in the Super Bowl again, and it didn't quite happen for the 49ers.
No, I mean, almost.
But once I think if they get a different quarterback in there, certainly a possibility. But the Rams, from a few years ago too, it didn't feel like, despite the fact they were like rentals. So a lot of those guys, you thought, okay, well maybe this is a short-term thing, but they've continued that approach, and I think it's going to work out for years to come in Hollywood. I mean, that's a lot of guys want to live there. A lot of guys want to go play there, and it kind of elevates your star status if you're playing in the Rams uniform, which is certainly different than how it was in St. Louis.
I mean, it's still different though. I mean, I saw against the 49ers, you have a home game, and there were more 49ers fans than Rams fans. What's that all about? I mean, I know there's other things to do in LA, and I know obviously the Rams are still a new franchise when it comes to Los Angeles, but still, I mean, you think with that new stadium, as successful as the Rams have been this season, by all indications, they're going to be pretty good for the foreseeable future. You'd be able to pack a stadium, but
it's weird.
It's odd to me. I just don't understand it.
Well, it's all weird. I mean, you went from having no franchises out there to two of them. The Raiders have been there before, so a lot of LA people are just transplants anyway. So it's like, who do you really cheer for? And I'll tell you, they cheer for who's hot. Besides, always the Dodgers, always the Lakers. Those,
Right.
those teams
Are
have got their
do
spot,
well.
but a football team just hasn't been there long enough that, okay, well, San Francisco, they've been there forever. So those guys will drive, down the coast to go see that game.
Guess, yeah.
It's interesting, though.
It is odd.
Let's go to Johnny Laredo, talk some Husker hoops here on the Honda of Lincoln Hotline, 402-464-5685. Johnny, you going to the game tonight?
I am not.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. Well, what's on your mind?
That's one of the reasons why I'm calling. I just saw that Nebraska is a plus 1.5, and to the other listeners out there, I think that's easy money. I'm not promoting the sponsoring gambling. I'm just saying there might be the possibility, if one would so choose, one could maybe clean up tonight, because as we know, what's the best predictor of future behavior? Past behavior. And based on the Nebraska basketball team's performance, I think plus 1.5 is just a gimme. Bet the farm. But anyway, with regard to that, I'd just like to make one other comment. I don't know how Hoiberg got to $18.5 million on a buyout, except that Bill Moose must have really been hitting the bottle pretty hard during that time. Okay, he must have really been chugging them. The other comment that I'd like to make, that it's no surprise, or it should be, it's no surprise to Fred, who's been right in the thick of the Big Ten. And if you look at the Big Ten rosters, if you watch the games last night, whether it be Michigan, Illinois, or Purdue, what do they all have in common? A big man. You might even say a very large man. And Nebraska should not be lost on Fred that he has never had or recruited a big man, nor has he really recruited a great point guard. And those are things that Illinois, Purdue, with Johnny Davis at Wisconsin, those are the quality of kind of players at the key positions at center and point guard that Nebraska has just been lacking the last 2 years. And Fred is wondering why he's floating at the bottom as a scum sucker in a pond. It's because he doesn't have that level of talent that he needs to compete successfully.
Yeah.
It's no surprise. I mean, Fred is not a stupid guy, but he obviously has not been paying attention. Maybe he just doesn't care. And I'm beginning to think that he just doesn't care. He just wants the 18.5. So 18.5 mils. So anyway, I'm out of here. But anyway, hey, plus 1.5 at the farm. See ya. And by the way, you guys do a great job. I started listening to you guys from the first day you came on air years ago, and it's still the best sports talk radio show on town. So.
All right, very much appreciate that. Thank you, Johnny. Lorraine, a lot of takes there, a lot of things to dive through. First of all, he said no betting advice. Here's a little betting advice. Don't ever bet the farm. Don't always go on one game. So always gamble responsibly if you are going to do that, of course. But that is kind of surprising. Last I saw, they were a few point underdog. So,
but yeah, Nebraska. So Nebraska's plus 1.5, and I actually did a little bit diving into this. So they're 12-1 this season against the spread, or 12-11, excuse me, against the spread. So basically, about half the time, if you bet on Nebraska every game, you'd be in the plus money right now.
Do you expect to see, like, this week's been toxic. Do you expect to see this idea of that is kind of laid out there of, we're at least gonna come out and hustle hard, and you kind of see that extra element that we really haven't seen from this Nebraska basketball team. It's not that they don't try; it's just it feels like that extra effort at times. Whether they're getting the dumps about their season or kind of how the game is going. It just, you don't see a whole lot of guys with floor burns by the end of the game, and I think that's similar to what he did early on in the season, where he's talking about if you take a bad shot, I'll pull you out. I think it's maybe time to not play your ideal lineup. It's time to play the guys that are out there putting them, the premium effort out there.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Brian Munson that brought this up yesterday. Is at some point it's going to be a sense of pride. That's what's going to get you this final win. I mean, what else? Are you playing for? I mean, you're obviously at this point probably going to get the last seed in the Big Ten tournament. You're not going to make a run by all indications. You might not win another game in the Big Ten. So do you go into this game with a sense of pride of saying, okay, this is the game where we don't finish the Big Ten defeated. We actually get that win. And it depends on how much pride you have as a team. And it depends if you're Fred Hoiberg, how much pride you have in yourself to say, the odds are stacked against me. The fans have completely turned on the program to like the point of basically no return.
A few vocal ones,
basically, you're at the point of no return if you're Fred Hoiberg. Even if you're fired this season, you're setting the next coach up for failure. You're retained next season. The fan base is already in shambles, so you're at the point of no return. It's just how much pride do you have? And I'll ask you that. Do you think this team is at the point where you're saying, like we are, this is your game to get a win, and they're going to play for that? Because that's the question.
Yeah, I think it has to be at some point. Sometimes questioning the effort can be kind of a dangerous game. Sometimes, a team like Nebraska, if you, I said this about the Northwestern game all along. If you, some of those looks started to get pretty bad once they started hitting them all right? Yeah. But when they hit 7 of 8 threes, Nebraska doesn't have the shooting to catch up to that. That's just incredibly hot shooting. You see it in the NBA every night where one team's hitting all their threes, the other's not. That doesn't mean one team can't play or shouldn't be in the NBA. It's just that team's hot that night, and that's what happened against Northwestern. Obviously, there's been other games, the Auburns and Michigans, where you're just outmatched, and then you can maybe question effort. But at that point, how the extra effort button wasn't going to get those wins. So, it's kind of interesting. But tonight again just kind of lines up for your backs against the wall. People are starting to turn on you, and your coach's pride is almost on the line.
It's a sense of pride, yeah, that's what it is.
So it all kind of comes down to that. And then the other thing, and the frustrating part about this is the same thing could be said about Northwestern, and that's the product that you got. Obviously, was that this is you have a 6-game stretch here of what we would call winnable games, or most likely winnable games, before you play 2 top 25 teams around out the season. And this one's at home against the second to last team in the standings. This is it. This is the most winnable game, according to the standings, at least, that you have. And if you're talking, again, it's the pride factor. If you're talking about just wanting to get one victory, that's nobody's goal. But my God, it's so much better than going winless, right?
But here, let me ask you this too. Then, so say Nebraska does lose tonight, and by all indications, we would assume, as a fan base at the station, whoever you talk to, that you're probably going to end the Big Ten without a win. Is that kind of the nail in the coffin for Hoiberg? Is it? Because we're already at the point, like I just said, we're at the point of no return. The fan base has turned on the program. The fan base has turned on Hoiberg. It's reaching detrimental situation, and you're going to have to pay that buyout at some point, whether you like it or not. Whether it's 18.5, wait another year, and it goes down. Is it you go defeated in the Big Ten, you don't win a game? Is it we're done? You don't have a choice? Because I think that might be the situation that we've reached.
Yeah, it can't get worse than that, right? And that's what
is that it then? Do you have to pull the trigger at that point? I feel like you might have to.
I don't know. It's so hard to how much. I guess it does kind of get back to what is 2-18 or 1-19 against 0-20? That's going to change your decision on your long term?
But it might, though, is the thing. Like you said, it's pride at that point of going 0-20, or even if you're winning a game, at least that's something that you can build off of, right? Think about the morale of an entire program to say you went an entire Big Ten season, you didn't win a game.
Yeah.
Think of the morale. It's just, there's just so many factors that go into a situation where you don't win a game. So I think, and I talked to Nick about this yesterday too, I think if they don't win a game in the Big Ten, I think that's it. I think you don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's fascinating because that certainly could be the case, and I don't know. It's really hard again with all of us to make our speculations. Some people are definitely on the side of the fence that they won't fire him because 18.5 is just too much. Right. He's got a top recruiting class coming in. That's not, it doesn't sound as good as maybe it has in years past because he's already had top recruiting classes coming in. But at the same time, that's something to point to. You're looking for something to point to. Well, there's something. They're going to have to make staff changes. I think we all kind of understand that at this point in the season. But I think similar to what I've asked Rick this before is, part of it's just the eye test, because as much as we can complain that they aren't quite getting over the hump, they're at least competitive in a lot of these games.
Yes.
If these games end up all looking like the Northwestern game at the end and they don't win a game, then yeah. if they're losing a few overtime games here down the stretch, and they just for some reason can't learn how to win, that's also frustrating. But I just don't know. That's a huge buyout, and I also just think that there's still some sort of potential. I don't believe in it. That's the problem, right? I don't believe that this thing's going to work, but I still have a little tiny bit of hope that what Fred Hoiberg still had coming in, maybe this is the similar thing to Frost, and maybe it's not fair to give Frost the extension. The thing where it's not similar to Frost is absolutely that Nebraska's fan base is still kind of clinging on to Frost and wanting to see it through another year. And maybe, not all of the fan base, but seemingly a majority of it. I think that you're starting to see that turn on the basketball program where you don't have overwhelming support for Fred Hoiberg. But I still think that he's, if you give Frost, because this is what happened. I mean, Frost came in with the idea, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to make the Big Ten adjust. We all heard that. That's kind of what, into Johnny Laird's point, that's what Hoiberg's done. He's just willy-nilly recruiting whatever top stars he can get in, and hopefully all the pieces can work together, and they haven't.
And in college, that's so important too. I mean, people don't realize. I mean, you look at these one and done teams that have won in the past. I mean, it's taken months for these players to mesh together, so it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, in NBA maybe that's the case, but in college it's different. Gene texted us, and I'll ask you this because you probably know the answer to this better than I do. How much revenue does the men's basketball team generate annually? There lies your answer about whether or not Hoiberg stays or goes. How many years will it take to make up the $18.5 million buyout? That's actually, I mean, that's a good point because, like we said yesterday, normally when a coach is pushed out, it comes down to the donors, right? It comes down to the alumni. They're the ones that are sending this money, but Nebraska basketball, I'm assuming, doesn't have the donors to just automatically say, okay, boom, we're done with the 18.5. So if it does come down to how long does it take you to generate that 18.5, you're at the point of a fan base. I mean, Pinnacle Bank Arena hasn't been sold out this season yet, if I know correctly. So, I mean, it might take a while, and I don't know if a new coach is going to bring fans funneling back into the stadium anytime soon.
So, huge name with another big contract.
But so how long does it take you to bring back that $18.5 million? Because that's actually a pretty good point there. So I don't know.
Well, and that could be part of it. But again, with college, with athletic departments especially, it's kind of hard because a lot of them are supposed to balance the budget to get to zero so that you can get funding elsewhere.
Right.
Obviously, I always kind of go back to, but it's hard to know without knowing what their budget looks like, what are all the moving parts, because there's a lot of them, right? I mean, there's new buildings going up. There's a track and field building that they're going to work on, I don't know if it's a building, but the betterment of the track and field, obviously the new facility going up next to Memorial Stadium. And they can, you can complain about money and how much it's going to be and all that stuff. How much are you willing to give from those, if it's going to take another
that's what it is.
half a year or something to build that, would you rather, so it's really hard to know without the budget there. I do want to say this, because we did have a shout out here. I got to find out. Ellison in Illinois said, I've listened to the ticket since the beginning. Always loved your show, Bach. It's my 55th birthday. Can I get a shout out? Absolutely. Happy birthday. If you ever want a shout out, just give me any sort of love on the text line. I just beg for it. So if I get any of it, I'll give you a shout out. But a very great conversation we have rolling here. I just saw a caller. We maybe lost him there, but if you were calling in, go ahead and give us a call. We'll get to you on the other side of it. We do have to take a break, but this conversation is rolling. There's a game tonight, so we'll keep it going here on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Ticket Water Cooler here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is your high school minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In boys basketball on Monday, Bellevue West rolled Lincoln East 84-52, outscoring East every quarter. Bellevue West now sits at 19-2, while Lincoln East sits at 10-8. Lincoln Christian won over Aquinas 55-45. Lincoln High dominated in their game against Omaha Northwest 72-47. Lincoln Lutheran won over Hastings SC 49-38. Jules led Lutheran with 16 points. Lincoln Southwest could pull off an upset, losing to Millard North 57-53. Millard North now sits at 17-2, while Lincoln Southwest sits at 11-7. In girls basketball on Tuesday, Lincoln Lutheran won over Ralston 67-31. The Lincoln Lutheran girls have one more game left in their regular season with a chance to finish 19-3, and Parkview Christian beat College View Academy 57-29. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric always makes safety a top priority for our home and office. In under just 1 hour, their team installed the state-of-the-art air scrubber system directly into our existing HVAC ductwork. This technology purifies the air and reduces exposure to common bacteria and viruses, creating a safer breathing environment for my family. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Now what do? Football is over. The weather's crappy. Man, I tell you what, it's a perfect time to go car shopping. This is Carl from Price Right Auto. Come out to Price Right Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. With our non-commissioned sales process, we let you control the sale. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sid. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour. And other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games. Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
When it's really cold and your furnace goes out, the last thing you need is somebody who just wants a piece of your checkbook. Several families were told they had a cracked heat exchanger and needed a new furnace. Fortunately, they called Bryant for a second opinion. Many were found to only need minor repairs. Anytime you need furnace repair, call the experts at Bryant first. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday night from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, unnecessary contaminants. Here's the referee.
Hey Culligan, that's a flag on my water for flagrant foul taste.
Ooh, that's a tough one, ref, but the solution is a Culligan Smart RO drinking water system that reduces up to 58 contaminants, making your water safer and delicious.
Yeah, I guess I missed that call.
And with the Culligan Connect app, you always know when your filters need changing.
The water's up and it's good.
Good call, ref, and we're already on the way.
Try a Culligan water softener for just $9.95 per month. Go to CulliganLincoln.com.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on the Ticket Water Cooler, brought to you by Culligan Water on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman. He is Nathan Brennan. Can I call you Nate? Is it cool if I say Nate?
Yeah, go for it. Nick was rolling with it. Yeah,
yeah.
Nate and Bach.
Yeah, there you go.
Not bad.
Do you go with do you go by Nate, or you just more of a Nate?
You know, it's actually funny. So it changes through every stage of my life. So in high school, I was Nate. In college, I was Brennan, went by my last name.
Oh.
And then now, since I've been here, I've always gone by Nathan. So basically, when I say you can choose what you want to call me whatever you want.
Nate Dogg it is.
Nate Dogg. All right, yeah. I like it.
Let's go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline and head to Ben. Ben's been patiently waiting. Ben, what are your thoughts on Nebraska basketball?
Hey, first off, I listened to I believe it was Nick's call of the Lincoln East and Pius games the other night, and I thought he did a really good job. So give him a shout out there. But no, when Frost was clearly having his struggles this weekend, this last year, part of the narrative was, he really didn't have a whole lot of support from the business side, with Moose kind of being an absentee boss and letting the athletic department run amok. And I guess do you think Fred Hoiberg gets any of that benefit of the doubt? If he goes looking for the boss for support, and all he can find is a bunch of empty whiskey bottles on the office floor, and Bill Moose nowhere to be found. I just wonder if you guys could give your thoughts on that.
All right.
I'll just hang up on this.
Thanks, Ben. The shots at Bill Moose, the party shots at Bill Moose.
They're always
He might not want to listen to Lincoln Radio anymore at this point. I'm sure he doesn't, or I mean, maybe he's a big fan of the Ticket Water Cooler, but we're pushing him away at this point. I think that the legacy of Bill Moose is, first of all, just fascinating, because it just seemed like home run hire after home run hire. And obviously, Will Bolt is the one that's been working so far. Yeah. But I don't think that Hoiberg necessarily is going to get too much of a benefit there from Trev Alberts. As far as that goes, maybe everybody does get a little bit of, the fact that he wasn't necessarily there or looking over the program and critiquing it. But I think that, I think for the most part, they're going to be judged on the results and what they've done so far, and regardless of who the athletic director is. Certainly it can help if you have more support and more ideas coming from up there. But let's also be honest here. It's pretty transparent when you have a Butkus Award winner as your athletic director. You're a football school, so I know that Trev wants to get around it and make every program better, and I hope that he's spending a lot of time with the basketball operations and trying to get it going. But obviously. I don't see there being too much of an excuse there.
Well, I mean, what is that relationship like? I mean, I know his relationship with Scott Frost is obviously pretty close. I know that kind of he was the facilitator for the most part of lowering that buyout, lowering his contract. So I don't know if maybe that's something that could be evaluated with Hoiberg. I don't know. What exactly does that relationship look like? Because I mean, Trev is so new. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's why it's such an interesting question, because you were able to restructure Scott Frost's contract. Does that maybe become a discussion with Fred Hoiberg?
I think it almost has to. I mean, I think that at least if you're looking for any sort of grace from the Nebraska basketball fan base, they're going to have to do that. And then, I think that it's something that's becoming more of a practice in college sports, right? I mean, we're kind of seeing that and kind of the benefits it can have. And everybody can point to Coach Harbaugh and say, well, yeah, see, it worked there. Harbaugh had, consistently top 15 teams there at Michigan. He wasn't that far away from what he did last year. Just a few, wins. And maybe it was the flu in the Ohio State locker room that ended up getting done this year. So, I think – I don't know. I'm so fascinated by tonight's game, and normally you wouldn't be, right? I mean, this is a snoozer of a game in the Big Ten.
Outside of Minnesota and Nebraska fans, I
don't think there is any.
In this one.
But as far as just Nebraska, like it feels like they're, and we've said this before, just because of that buyout, it feels like they're stuck, and there's not much hope around the corner. And again, you get all this big picture discussion of. What's going to happen in the future? What does the program look like next year, 2 years from now? Could you imagine Fred Hoiberg still being here? And they've got to put all that to the side and go in there and win a game. And you just wonder, what can that do? Because, I mean, we're talking in the break. You're a firm believer that 1-19 could be a big difference than 0-20.
So. Yeah.
As far as
from
even
a morale
retention
standpoint, more than anything. And then Corey Corey says, why does Fred have to restructure? What motivation would he have to take less money? I mean, I know Scott Frost he wants to be in Lincoln. He wants to be here. Does Fred Hoiberg want to be here? I mean, at this point, the fan base turned on you in such an extent. Like, I don't know. Maybe you don't restructure. Maybe you say, you really want me out, you have to pay this buyout. I mean, it just comes down to Fred Hoiberg and how badly he wants to be here, which I don't know.
I mean, but it is. I mean, when you have callers calling in and asking you why you deserve another year, it is. I mean, you're going to have the same type of situation when you walk into Trev Albert's office and he says,
absolutely.
I mean, obviously, it's like, show me the plan, one, and then like it's just straight talk. He's a grown man. He knows what's going on. He doesn't deserve that contract. So there's not necessarily a huge reason for him to I shouldn't say the contract, not the buyout. So there's no I think that I think it would just do a lot to kind of at least pull the dogs back a little bit if he does restructure that buyout going into next season. And it's just amazing, remembering the day that contract and the buyout was released. It was kind of a deal done, not released to the public and just kind of
and now everyone knows what that is.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. I know we talked about kind of when Fred Hoiberg came here, he was a top commodity. I mean, this was a home run hire for Nebraska. Say he's fired this season, next season, whatever it may be. Where do you go if you're Fred Hoiberg from here? I mean, because your prestige, I wouldn't say that it's completely dead. I wouldn't say that he's not going to get another Power 5 coaching job, but what kind of jobs are you looking for? Because this obviously tarnishes your legacy to some extent. It has to, right?
Yeah, I think he needs to go, maybe on an NBA bench somewhere, maybe in a front office again. He's done that before. Maybe get back to the NBA. Maybe it is as a lead assistant at a major program.
Right.
I don't know if I'm a Power 5 job. If I would. I mean, yes, it's hard to win in Lincoln, but I mean, this. There does become the question, and the Omaha World Herald had this article the other day about it. Was is college basketball this the strategy that Hoiberg won with at Iowa State passed him by, and there's a big reason to believe that. Obviously, with what's going on in Nebraska, not just that, but the transfer portal has changed the game. I mean, that was kind of his strategy that separated him from other coaches. Now that's everybody. Everybody can do that. You're not ahead of the game there anymore.
Fred doesn't need to go anywhere. I mean, I understand that, but I feel like there's a little bit of, we've talked about this in the past, there's a little bit of ego that comes with these coaches, especially someone like Fred Hoiberg that went to the Elite Eight, I believe, with Iowa State. I mean, it might have even been the Final Four. I don't know.
No.
Was it Elite Eight?
It might have even been the Sweet 16. I'm not sure.
Regardless, he's had success in the past. And there's a little bit of ego that goes with that, right? I mean, you're a former NBA player. I mean, you've led a program to a Sweet 16 appearance. I mean, do you really want to go out this way? I mean, is this really how you want to end your legacy and go into a front office role? And I mean, I
don't think it would be long term. I think he needs. I think the best thing would do would be like a lead assistant at Kentucky or something, wherever he's got his ends there, just to kind of revitalize, give it a year or two, and then people go, well, there's Hoiberg off the bench over there. Maybe he could be the next guy. I know it didn't work at Nebraska. There's all these reasons, and then you get a chance. I just think he might need for his kind of status in the basketball community to rise back up is just a year or two of success somewhere else, obviously.
Something different, just to change the scenery.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's what makes the conversation so interesting, right? Because there's two sides. This is, where does Hoiberg go from here? Where does Nebraska go from here?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is just, again, a match made in heaven that's been gone about as poorly as possibly could. So, I mean, there's both ends to it, is what happens on either side.
But in the question of does Hoiberg want to be here, I don't think it's fair to question. Some people question his scare factor just because he's kind of a, he's not a big time screamer in your face, or he's just he's got that calm demeanor. So I don't think it's fair to question is how much he cares, and obviously there's plenty of reasons for him to care as much, and he didn't come here to fail or to take it easy or anything like that. So I think that there's plenty in it there, but you do wonder, kind of the health situation's always there. But the other thing is, does he feel like it's too deep? Does he feel like it might be better for his career to take a jump now to whatever that may be? And he's like, I don't know what the job would be, but he's well connected enough that he could get a pretty good job elsewhere. And maybe it would just be, okay, whatever, for some reason that didn't work out. Now I've got, and I don't know. I mean, that would have to be to the point where he doesn't believe that he could get it going again, which is a tough pill to swallow, and something I don't think as a competitor he will. But there's always the possibility that he just says, I'm ready to move on myself. Just fascinating discussion. We'll see a lot more. Maybe a lot of it's going to be just again because we talk about this game, snoozer of a game outside of the Minnesota Nebraska. You might not watch it, but for Nebraska fans, it's so interesting just to see, are they going to have a different look to them? Are they going to have that extra level of effort? Is it going to lead to the win? What another heartbreaking loss, kind of mean for this team? But I'll say this again. I know the Northwestern game, and that's the reason we're kind of really amping this discussion up, is that they lost by so much and weren't competitive in that game. But I just don't think that he's lost the team. If he loses the team and they start losing these games by 10 to 15, 15, 20 points down the stretch, then I think it's over. But I don't think that he's lost them. So,
well, let me ask you this. So, final prediction: +1.5 is the line. Are you taking Nebraska? I mean, basically, at that point, you're choosing money line. Who are you taking money line? Do you have faith?
No, but I don't think. I mean, I think that it'll be a close game. But you're asking whether I think that the winless team is finally going to get a win.
And you say no?
I don't know. I mean, the family wants to believe, sure. But as a prognosticator, I wouldn't touch that game.
No, probably not. Let me see. Minnesota also 10-10 against the spread. So Nebraska 12-11, Minnesota 10-10. So basically, it's toss-up.
Yeah, that sounds like something I don't want to touch. But I will be invested in. We'll obviously have the post-game show tonight. It's a late tip-off at 8 o'clock, so it'll be a late post-game show. But hopefully and finally we can get a win. My friend has been pointing out to me, between basketball and football, I've probably done, I don't know, 45 post-game shows or something, and had like 9 wins. So
really?
Well, but just between, the 3 wins of the football season, it's not 45. I don't know how much it is, but it's been a lot. I was trying to make it sound worse than it was, but it really has been a lot. And usually the post-game show, we just come in and go, oh, there it is. Yeah. Well.
Not too much to talk about.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully there will be. Hopefully tonight we finally see a big move from the Husker basketball team, at least in the win column, which would, you'd like to say double up your wins. It would just be the first one. So we'll see if that happens. We're going to take a quick break and then round things out here on the Ticket Water Cooler. We've made up some lists. We've got some different things that we've been pushing just because the Nebraska basketball has kind of taken over. The discussion has taken over. So let's get to buy or sell next. It's a new segment we're going to try on Wednesdays. It's original. You've never heard of buy or sell?
Yeah, probably never.
I think somebody's had it on this station. I think a few shows have had it before on this station. But you know why? Because it's a good one, and we're going to bring that to you next year on the Ticket Water.
At Buffalo Wings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringer. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered fried chicken served Buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings. And now a little from the world of...
There once was a man in a bind. He's got the best wife in all mankind. And with Valentine's Day not that far away, he needs the greatest gift he can find. Jewelry can be hit or miss, and that vacuum was quickly dismissed. Flowers, they die. Homemade, don't be that guy. What about that bakery in Beatrice? With cooler cakes, you'll eat every crumb. Fruit cakes made with brandy, bourbon, and rum. And those chocolate cake squares. Do I have to drive you there? Get yourself to the world of yum.
Today on Hey Culligan, unnecessary contaminants. Here's the referee.
Hey, Culligan, that's a flag on my water for flagrant foul taste.
Ooh, that's a tough one, Ref, but the solution is a Culligan Smart RO drinking water system that reduces up to 58 contaminants, making your water safer and delicious.
Yeah, I guess I missed that call.
And with the Culligan Connect app, you always know when your filters need changing.
Water's up and it's good.
Good call, Ref, and we're already on the way.
Try a Culligan water softener for just $9.95 per month. Go to CulliganLincoln.com.
Now what do we do? Football is over. The weather's crappy. Man, I tell you what, it's a perfect time to go car shopping. This is Carl from Price Right Auto. Come out to Price Right in West O, and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. With our non-commissioned sales process, we let you control the sale. We won't let you get a lemon if you back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. iElectric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. iElectric takes jobs from Beatrice, Omaha, and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
Hey, sports fans, Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as the top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, match mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are wrapping up things here on the Ticket Water Cooler, brought to you by Culligan Water. I'm Jake Bachman. He is, I forgot your last name. Now that I'm just calling you Nate. Come on. Nathan Schillhouse. No. Oh, Brennan. Yes, Brennan. That's right. Yeah. I'll just have to remember that, yeah. Nate Brennan. It rolls off the tongue.
Now, let me ask you, is it Bach oven or Bach oven?
Yeah, more Bach oven, yeah.
Bach oven?
But it doesn't. I mean, I don't really know
what do you say? What do you
I'd say Bach oven, but I didn't ask my great grandmother or anything.
Bach oven.
Yeah, Bach oven. You can go that way too.
Either one works.
That's why I just go with Bach. That's definitely just Bach.
Definitely easier. Definitely easier.
Let's try out our buy or sell section, or segment, I should say. As we, I think it was originated in Blacksburg, right? I mean,
for sure. I mean, we were certainly the first to ever come up with this idea.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, because who would ever think of this? But I'm actually, I got some Nebraska ones for you, and I'm excited to ask you. So the first one I got is Nebraska added Casey Thompson and Chubba Purdy in the transfer portal. Obviously, they keep Logan Smothers as well. I know this is a fan favorite, but I'll ask you, buy or sell Thompson as the starter for Game 1 in Ireland?
Ooh. Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's obviously the betting favorite. I would buy that. I think that, a guy that's thrown, 7 touchdown passes in a game at this level. Of course, he's just got the experience factor over everybody else in the room. I don't know if it's as I think he's by far the pick. I was going to say, I don't know if it's as much as just a given as sometimes we think of it. I think they're going to truly have a battle. Don't get me wrong. I just think he's going to, shine through and be the guy. I think he's the best guy in the room with the most experience. So, I think that he's going to be in there in Ireland. It's interesting, though, to kind of see how it plays out. Is he going to be the starter all the way through the season? He did get benched a few times in Texas. Was that because of his injury? Was that just because of the ineffectiveness at the time? He had a few games where, those games where he did get pulled, it was, he wasn't being very effective at the time. So, and then, if they have, it's just fascinating. I mean, if they have a losing skid, would they pull them to try to save their job? I mean, what would it's I hope that doesn't happen, but if they do have a losing skid, then the writing's kind of all the wall for the staff, right? So what does that mean for the players and what they're going to, who are they going to try to push? Maybe they would try to get a younger guy in there to say, hey, wait. We do have this coming for the future. But no, I think Casey Thompson's their best quarterback in the room. by far with the most experience. So yeah,
I just think the most interesting part of it that I see from my side is Chuba Purdy was a higher recruit in high school. I mean, I'm looking at 24/7 right now. I mean, obviously we haven't seen Chuba Purdy play really much at all. Casey Thompson does have that experience, and that I just think that's fascinating with it. I would say Casey Thompson's the betting favorite. He's definitely the fan favorite. If you check on Twitter right now, I mean, you'd see Casey Thompson everywhere when it comes to Husker fans. But do you think Logan Smothers is completely out of the running?
No, I think that, I mean, obviously if he's been told, and that's been the question all offseason, right? Like, what does Logan think of this? What does this mean for Logan?
Yeah, exactly.
But he's been, he started a game against Iowa. He had played a pretty good game.
He played well.
Yeah.
I mean, but from what you could have asked from him in that situation, he played well.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think that he's got, since he's still around, I think that he's been told that, you're going to have the opportunity to compete for the starting job as well. And I think that he's a guy that shouldn't be forgotten. Maybe he's the backup or the primary guy that would come off the bench if Casey Thompson does go out, or maybe he can win the job overall. Again, it's just the experience thing where you it's very little for him and Purdy wasn't on a great Florida State team. So that's why a lot of people hesitate to really think, okay, well, if he was ready, he'd probably getting some playing time there with the Seminoles. So it might just take a little bit more development for him. But I love that room. I love what they've done this offseason. I saw Adrian Martinez down in Manhattan at the booth talking about how he's going to run a little bit less, or that's the plan. Which thank God, because that guy got beat up here.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a possibility. I don't think that Martinez was the problem. It just got to a point where it was like, I think we need a fourth quarter quarterback. Have him play 3 quarters and then getting there and
throw someone else in there. Right. We've already talked about Nebraska, Minnesota quite a bit. All right. This one is interesting, and I asked Nick this, and we didn't really come to a consensus. So the Big Ten hasn't had a national champion since Michigan State in the year 2000. It's been quite a while. There are currently 5 Big Ten teams that are ranked in the top 25. Rutgers just on the outside looking in, Indiana on the outside looking in, Iowa on the outside looking in. Are you buying or selling the Big Ten will finally get another national champion?
I'll sell it. I think the Big Ten's got a lot of competitors. Obviously, last year I think they had a better opportunity with some of the front runners they had in the conference. This year, I mean, I think Purdue could be that team, but I always have trouble buying into Matt Painter in the tournament. He struggles there at times. For some reason, they seem to be a better regular season team than tournament team. You've got some teams in there, Illinois, Michigan State, that are going to, I think make a run at it, and I think you do probably get. As opposed to last year, a team in the Final Four. It's just like you said, it's been so long. It's just hard for me to believe it.
I think that's the most crazy part about all of it, because I mean, for the most part, the ACC, Big Ten, I would say those are the 2 basketball powerhouses. I mean, pick and choose whichever year you want. I mean, maybe this year it would be the Big 12. I don't know, but in years past, normally it's the ACC or the Big 10. And they haven't had one since 2000.
Yeah.
I mean, that just blows my mind with the amount of talent that's in the Big Ten. And I don't know if that's maybe we're reaching the point, it's similar to Nebraska football, where it's in your head and you're in the Big Ten and you're in the Final Four and you're like, oh my gosh, like, are we the team that's going to do it? I don't know. But I don't think this is the year.
I don't think this is the year either. I just don't see a national champion among them. Purdue would be the closest. But
maybe Illinois, too, with Kofi Coburn. I mean,
yeah.
Probably going to be the national player of the year. I mean,
got a great roster.
Probably would be my pick. I mean, But I mean, they didn't do it last year, so
right.
Who knows? And then Purdue, I'm not buying Purdue. I'm never going to be buying Purdue. I know you guys are going to buy Wisconsin as Nebraska fans.
I like Wisconsin. I like Iowa. I mean, I think they both have obviously some Big Ten Player of the Year candidates there too. But I don't believe for them to make the championship run,
which is crazy to think that it'll be 21 years since the Big Ten's had a national championship.
And Michigan State always gets closer.
They do. The ISOM. Yeah. The ISOM. Last one before we head to Strickenbach coming up next. A little bit of Super Bowl for you. Cooper Kupp led the NFL in receptions, yards, touchdowns, helped the Rams to their 2nd Super Bowl appearance in 4 seasons. Are you buying? And I know you're a DeAndre Hopkins guy, so I'm going to assume that's who you're going to pick here. But would you say buy or sell Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in the NFL?
No, I'll go ahead and buy it. I do like Hopkins. Okay. I like the Cardinals, but I think he struggled to get 100-yard games this year, and it's just kind of on and off the field. Either way, I mean, Cooper Kupp, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, and part of it's being in that offense and having Matt Stafford there. I get that. But at this point, it's hard to go against him. He's got his team in the Super Bowl. It's just kind of been the year of Cooper Kupp. So, this year, first guy to do that since Steve Smith in the mid 2000s to
Steve
lead.
Smith.
Yeah, receptions,
There's
yards,
a
and touchdowns.
throwback.
Oh, Steve Smith was awesome.
Steve Smith was a beast.
So just a comparison there.
But what's the comparison of the quarterback? Cooper Kupp's doing it with Matt Stafford. Who would have been Jake Delhomme?
Jake Delhomme.
Jake Delhomme, another throwback. Shout out to Steve Smith. Shout out to Jake Delhomme.
Yeah, and they made a Super Bowl themselves. So
they did.
Yeah,
they did.
It can be done. We got a lot more Super Bowl stuff that we'll bring to you tomorrow. Like I said, we just kind of run away with the basketball talk. That's what you guys want to talk about. There's a game tonight. And this show is for the people. So we'll throw out our plans and start talking about what you guys want to. So that's what we did today. Plenty more of that coming up next year on the block with Strick. Of course, longtime NBA vet, Nebraska basketball Hall of Famer. We'll get into that talk. We also might have a guest here with you, so we'll bring that up. He is here every Wednesday, Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. He was at the baseball press conference, so we can ask him a little bit about that. All that stuff coming up next year on the block on 93.7 The Ticket.